All right. So, how's everyone today?
Good, all good.
Very good,
All
very
good,
good. How's
thanks.
everyone coping up with the minus 30-degree weathers?
Yes.
Yeah, feels like.
Well, I had a very bad instance today. So, but it's okay. It's, my mechanic told me to change the car's battery, but you know what? My car, I have to take the whole bumper out to do it. It'll take 6 to 8 hours, and I didn't have the time to take it in for my. I guess I'm paying the price today for it. Okay, it's okay. So I know there's two more supposed to join today, but that's okay. We're gonna have the recording up on the LMF. You guys will get the LMS access in about as soon as we're done the class, about 2 hours. You guys will be sent a WhatsApp message with your
Okay.
username, login details, and as well as you guys are also going to get access to our ticketing system. Maybe not today, but on Monday it's going to be sent to you guys, so you guys can practice putting in tickets, getting used to tickets and everything. And don't worry, I'll give introduction to it when the time comes for it. Not a problem at all. Give me 1 second here. So okay, so let's get everyone to introduce themselves, so we can see everyone. I'd like to start off with Austin.
Yes, my name is Austin. Basically, now I used to do IT support long time ago. So
Okay.
before moving to Canada,
Hmm.
and when I moved to Canada, I basically did a normal job, office job,
Hmm.
and I got laid off. And now, a couple of months ago, I joined as an IT technician,
Hmm.
basic level, coming back into the IT.
Very good.
Yeah, so that's it. Because-
Very good. And what is your role typically right now in in
So
IT?
basically, I'm an ID technician support.
Okay, so you do uh, technician work, I
Yes,
believe, right? Okay,
yes,
okay,
laptops, troubleshooting, building
very good,
laptops. Yeah.
very good. I'm sorry, guys. You might guys hear some background noises. I'll try to do the background noise cancellation, but I don't know if it'll work here. Uh, Not a problem. Okay. So who's next? I have here is Naveen.
Yeah. So, good evening, everybody. Myself, Naveen. I'm living in Canada from last 8 years, and then currently I'm working in a medical company as a QA.
Mhm.
And like in year 2022, 23, when I got the PR, I thought of getting into IT, but and I also got the training for QA analyst. Sorry, the QA automation engineering. And I tried for like 6 months, and after that, the inflation got in, and then I couldn't able to land into IT. Um,
Mhm.
so after that, things got changed, and then I have to go to India, and I got married, and few things happened, and finally, I am working in a medical company at the moment. So the thing is, I really want to come into IT. Uh,
Mhm.
I guess once I become citizen, so I thought this is the best time to get into IT, and then I saw your videos on
Very good.
Facebook. I thought of like
Mhm.
just giving it a shot, and then hopefully if I can get a job in this year, hopefully yeah, that's my dream actually to get into IT. Hopefully by this year.
Okay, no problem at all. Very good, man. Very good. Very good.
Yeah, yeah.
Very good. And then I have Deepak.
Yeah. Hi, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Very low it is. Yeah.
Yeah, very low. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, my name is Deepak, and I'm just currently living in Milton.
Mhm.
So, like, basically, I'm working as a tool and die maker, so in the manufacturing field.
Okay.
So, yeah, like last year I got my PR, so everything got sorted out. So I just took 1 year of time to settle up everything.
Very
So,
nice.
yeah, now I'm just planning for the career, like big change from mechanical to IT.
Very good. Very good. Yes.
Yeah, fortunately, I found this, so I'm just catching
Mhm. Mhm.
everything from the basics because I really don't have any background from IT.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's going to be my first start. So
Very good. Very good. Very good. Okay. Very nice. And as I said, there's two more personnel. Then they told me they couldn't come in today because they didn't get the shift to be switched, which is fine. We will. They should be able to communicate through. They should be able to watch the LMS videos as well. What I wanted to show you guys right now is a couple of things on the LMS first before we start our lesson, so you guys know how to log in and how to do whatever you guys need to do for the time being. Okay. To get started. So I'll show you guys how you can enter into the LMS, which is 1 second. Let me share the screen. So our LMS site is located at ctechtraining.ca. This is the URL, which should be sent to you guys, so don't worry, okay? And you'll see a bunch of courses in here, not a problem at all. Your course, you don't see it yet because you'll see it tonight. You guys will be IT Help Desk February batch, okay? So let me log into this. You guys will be giving a username as well. It usually is first name dot last name. When you put it in, you log in. You go to the dashboard first. But if you go to My Courses, you should be able to see your course code, which will be IT Help Desk February, okay? Yeah, Feb, not Jan, it'll be Feb. That's the one you'll go to, but I'll just go into January for now and then show you. It'll get emulated tonight. So let me go in here, click in here. So when you go in here, the first thing you'll see is your Google Meet link. And this is the same link you guys be using for pretty much everything. This will be the link that you'll use for pretty much everything. And if you scroll down here, you'll see my email address, so the instructor email address, and CTech Training's email address. And this will become, you guys need this, is because when you guys submit the assignments, you guys will do a certain format, and I'll show you guys exactly how you'll submit the assignments and everything, okay? When you scroll down here, you'll see each week is labeled. Each week is labeled. And you'll see all the live classes will be under the recorded live classes, okay? The section for it. And any assignments are pre-recorded sessions. It'll be under the red section, okay, here, okay? The pre-recorded sessions are to cover anything that we think as it's good to know, but it doesn't need to be covered inside of this class. You can ask, we'll definitely have a session to answer any questions you have, for sure. But I think it's just that, it's all same content. It doesn't update. There's not much there. You guys can watch the videos there is on each one of those weeks. And then if you have any questions, you can definitely ask in the live class. The first 10 to 15 minutes will be discussion on the pre-recorded session for the week. And after, I believe after the week 3, there's not much more pre-recorded, just all the basic stuff, right? The fundamentals. So you guys, when I first ask you guys to do is sit down and go through these pre-recorded video. They're about 15 minutes, 20 minutes each, okay? They're not much, but although they're dry content, it's just you need to understand how an IT team works. What are the responsibilities of an IT team? How it integrates within the service industry itself, and what is your role inside IT, okay? That's what we talk about. And also we talk about some of the hardware troubleshooting and some of the networking troubleshooting for your role, which is the entry-level role, okay? Which we talk about. Understand. And you have your all assignments you will be able to download from here. So when it says networking tool assignment, you'll go in here, and then you can actually download it from here. But you will not use the LMS to submit your assignment, okay? You'll actually submit it through your email chain. And I'll show you exactly how to do it when we come to submitting an assignment itself, okay? I'll go through the exact step because there's actually a formatting that I want you guys to use. It's so that I know which batch you're from and what assignment, and I can mark them properly, okay? I just want you to follow that grading. And as I said in the pre-recorded video, I hope it's not too noisy for you guys, to be honest. I'm just trying to move to a different location if it's too noisy. So it's the assignments are here. You guys can go ahead and download them, and they get unlocked per every week when they are due, okay? And usually you'll have 1 week to do any small assignments and 2 weeks to do any of the large assignments. So you guys will have ample amount of time to make sure you complete those assignments and get them handed in. So you guys don't have to worry about too much of timing and everything, okay? So I'm just trying to move to a different location, which is a little bit less noisy. So any question in the LMS section here?
Hello.
No, yeah, go ahead.
This is Austin.
Yes, go ahead.
So the assignment will be in like it's like a PDF format, or?
Yes. So the assignment will be sent to you in I'll just show you right now. One second. So the assignments will be like this. will be here. Let's say if you go in here, right?
Okay.
And let's say if I just download this one, and we just have to save this to open it. Let me open this for you. Okay, so if you see here, this one is a networking assignment. It's the introduction to networking assignment. Okay.
Okay.
So this one is just, you're gonna do some tools, test it out, and do a little bit of exploring the tools itself. And the way you will hand it in is by putting in your course code, which will be ITHD dash FEB 2 colon and then the assignment date, assignment name, right? Your first name, last name, and the assignment thing. It'll be a PDF. We suggest you do it through PDF. Or if you have Word document, Word document is fine. But a lot of people do it through PDF. It's just easier for us, when we open it up.
So we have to update whatever the output or answers. And
exactly. You'll take screenshots. So the assignments are very. When I go through the assignments, I'll go through exactly how you do them.
Got it.
Don't worry. I won't let you guys out, Luis. It'll be very much. I'll explain to you guys exactly how to do that. I'll go through each. Before I give you guys any assignments, you'll obviously get the first assignment. We'll go through and I'll show you exactly what you'll need to do to make sure that you're fully online with it. Okay?
Yeah.
Perfect. Any other questions? Perfect. Okay. So no problem at all. Okay. So let's start our first lesson, which is going to be networking fundamental for IT help desk analyst role itself. Okay? So this one is going to cover pretty much foundational of networking, and as well as networking troubleshooting, which will be a part 2. And we'll have a small class activity next week for networking before I give you guys assignment. Okay? And any small assignment will just be due 1 day before the next live class. And we do have, so there's about 2 weeks where there's 2 big assignments. These look right now very big, but trust me, people have, when they join this course, they have no clue about Azure. We go through it and they will be able to complete the Azure assignment itself with the help of the school students, right? So I'll show you guys how to exactly do that too. Don't worry about it. But if you scroll down here, week 4 and 5 will be just work period. There will no be live classes. It'll be you guys will be treated like a live IT team, and you guys will be using the email to communicate between your team members, which is all you guys, and then complete the assignment. There's about 5 of you guys in this batch. Okay, with 5 of you guys participate, and you guys will do this, and I'll show you guys exactly what I mean and how you guys will do that. Okay, so don't be afraid. There's 3 assignments on this. I mean, there's about 3 assignments in the Office 365 as well. But once you guys complete these assignments, you guys will be fully ready to tackle on any level 1 task in Azure or Microsoft 365. You guys will be able to find it. Okay? But anything that anything in this course, you will have support through email or through. I suggest email just to treat it like a workplace itself. Okay? All right. So let's get started. And if you guys have any questions, just please feel free to unmute yourself and ask. It's just because today I'm running on one screen, so I cannot see if you guys unmute yourself and put your hand up. So just for today, just unmute yourself and ask any question if you guys have any doubts or anything like that. And after we're done this, before next week, I'm going to ask you guys to finish watching week 1 and week 2 pre-recorded sessions. So which is when you guys log into your LMS, which you guys will get tonight. If you go into week 1 here, you'll see there's lesson 1 and lesson 2. You guys cover that, please. And then before you guys come to the next class as well, you guys will watch the lesson 3 and lesson 4, lesson 5, lesson 6. Okay. So there's about totally 6 lessons. They're all about 10 minutes each. It's not too long, 10 to 20 minutes each. Just take time to watch them before you guys come to the next class, which will be next week on Fridays, right? 7:30. Okay. Okay. So what is a network? A network is a group of devices connected together. Device communicates to share data and resources. Can be local, like in home or office, or global, like the internet. Example of a resource shared is file, printers, internet, and applications. The reason why, guys, network became a big thing inside an internal network, and there's something called public network and then internal network. Let's look at exactly those 3 when we go slightly into part 2 next week. But think of it this way, right? Back in the days, I don't know if you guys remember, we used to have something called DSL modem, right? Does any of you guys remember DSL modems?
Yes, DSL
Yes.
modems. Yeah.
Yes. And you remember there used to be a cable you'll connect to your desktop, you'll dial in,
Dial
and
in.
then and then it makes a sound ding 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 ding, and then it
Yeah,
connects, right? But remember, you can only connect one computer or one device to it, right? Usually a computer, right?
Yes, correct.
You cannot connect more than one computer to it. It's because it's a direct connection from your ISP. ISP stands for Internet Service Providers. Okay,
Yes.
so it's a one connection from your ISP and connects to one device, and that's it. But if you think about it, that's not really efficient, right? Because back in the day, we affording a computer used to be like only upper class people were able to do it, or either companies were able to afford it, right?
Yes.
But nowadays, devices became so cheap. We can buy internet connecting computer for $100, even $50, right? And our cell phone connects to internet, our computer connects to internet, our thermostat connects to internet. We have smart devices that connects to internet itself, right? Now, the solution that came for it is, okay, it's either we can make the consumer buy individual connection to each one of those devices. Do you guys remember what the billing used to be for the DSL modems back in the days? Approximate pricing per month? For I think it's like 10 gigs or something like that, right? 500.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, like it was a gigabyte, right? It was like monitored.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you'll pay like $100 or $150 a month, right? For it,
Yeah.
right?
For so much data, like.
Yeah, like 10 gigs of data for 10 gigs was back in the day was huge,
Yeah.
But like that, let's say if I was to tell you, if I'm the ISP company, okay, now Austin wants to buy a computer. Now he wants to get a cell phone. It's like, all right, Austin, you're gonna have to pay another $150 per month, per devices. You're gonna be like, what the hell, man? Like, I'm gonna be spending all my money on just on internet device itself, right? Internet bills itself rather than device, right? You'll surpass the device's cost before the internet bill itself, right? So it didn't make sense. So they came up with something for this is on. If you think about it, that's what I said is for consumer end, but think of it in the business environment, right? You'll have hundreds of computers in office, hundreds of machines, thousands of machines, right? It's not a viable solution for them. Now, what they came up with, okay, so the internet provider is able to provide these services to multiple houses at the same time, right? Is because they can control it. They create network. Why can't we do that in the home as well, for offices as well, which is called routers? What we came up with, okay? The routers in charge of allowing you to connect multiple devices and then sending the information out to your ISP as one connection. So think of it like this: having a big building, right? Like 4168, our where CTEC training is facilitated is 4168 Finch Ave E. It's a big building with hundreds of offices. But the mail comes in to one address, right? 4168 Finch Ave East. But inside of the building, we have hundreds of offices, and that is the matter of fact of in charge of the building's maintenance, right? Maintenance person. To the government itself, it's a one big building in that geological location itself. And then the mailman will take care of, okay, if you were to send to Penthouse 05, it'll come to CTEC Training Center. If you send to maybe 06, it's probably another office, something like that, right? It's internally that happens, right? But end of the day, if you say 416 Finch Avenue East, the catapults to send it to that building, and then whatever happens inside the building, it's a management issue. Same thing happens here. Your router will be the one who's receiving all the data from the computers, cell phones, and everything. Let's say if you have siblings, one of your siblings is watching YouTube, right? Like let's say they're watching the NFL game or something like that. And then you probably are doing an Azure assignment and everybody going through one router, but the router knows who's asking for what information, and it is in charge of taking the information, passing it on to ISP, and then getting the reply back and giving to the right device. So it does the play, it does all the play, and it does all the circus in the background. You wouldn't know that. But that's the reason why it became that we can have one connection and hundreds and thousands of devices can connect. Now, hundreds and thousands of devices can connect depending on the router's strength and how big the router is and how much the router can handle, right? Usually, typically, your home router, which is called a 3-part router, okay? Your home router has something called router built-in, a modem built-in, access point built-in, and then part of it, there's actually a switch, okay, as well. But what is a modem is? Modem is when we call DSL, the DSL time, people who know DSL time, it used to be called modem. And all it is a device that has one coax cable or a phone line cable, and then one Ethernet cable you can plug in, that's it. And then you used to be able to buy a router separately and connect that to it and allows you to route, right? So it's all built into one, if you think about it. Your home router typically can allow up to 50 to 75 devices to connect to it without any sort of lagging, okay, depending on what you're doing. But in the bigger scale, in a corporate environment, you have actually Cisco routers that are capable of handling 2,000, 3,000 computers at a time with different networks and those type of things. Okay? We don't need to go into too deep into networking, but just understand a network consists of routers that is able to pass information and take it to the right device itself. It's like almost like a mailman. Okay? It allows you to share the internet with different devices and can collaborate. Okay, it allows for collaboration. If you have hundreds of computers, those hundreds of computers can talk to each other and know where they are located if you allow them to. Okay? Does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
And if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me. It's not a problem at all. Okay. Why do networks exist? The network solves common problem, saves money. As I said, remember, like it used to be back in the day, the internet was one of the examples, and the other good example is printers. Printers used to cost so much. Even now, if you think about it, printers cheap, but the ink is expensive, right? If you were to play in that, if you were to think in the back of the day, each computer will need their own printer, which means now you need to maintain the ink, you need to maintain the machine itself, and paper and everything, right? Well, when the networking came around, the printers were able to network, which means they can be connected to a router, and it can be shared among 20, 30, 50, 100 devices. They can just have one printer in the main office, where it's in a centralized or shared location, which you guys probably will see in a lot of offices nowadays. You guys can go ahead and print, and then you guys can go and pick it up from there, right? So it allows you to share. It enables communication like email, chats, and video calls, either inside the company itself or outside as well, right? The network itself, and helps collaborate. So we can create something called shared folder. We can create resources that allows you to share resources, meaning files, photos, songs, music, anything, right? Any data within the network itself. So I don't have to carry a USB drive to, let's say, if I'm trying to talk to send a file to Deepak or or Naveen or thing, right? I don't have to carry a USB drive to give it to you guys. I can just tell you, here's a path you guys can go into. You guys can go and grab them, and anybody can go in there as long as they have the permissions. They can go and get them. And centralized management and security. Now that I know everybody's in one network, it's easy for me to control who can connect and who cannot connect, and I can say who can access and who cannot access it. It becomes a very good environment for us to control and monitor and deny anything that we need to. Okay? Without a network, every user will need to have their own internet connection and printers and anything that that we think in the modern world is just not possible, and it becomes very expensive. Okay. Now, I think the future of it is there's been some technology that it allows us to get a cheaper internet per devices, which is the more if you guys look at the 5G plus or the next generation network, it is meant for individual devices, and that is what Starlink is working on. Everyone's working on now. It's more for instead of networking, will enable network for each devices or network connection for each device, individual devices. Let's see how that turns around. But end of the day, networking will never die. It'll always be needed in the corporate environment. Okay? Always, always, always. It will never die. What does a home network look like? This is a typical, if you see on your right here, this is your typical your home setup, right? So you have your internet service provider here, which is called ISP, and then it comes to your wall, and there's a modem. So nowadays, remember I told you there's modem, router, switch, access point is all built in. So you guys probably, if you have Bell or Rogers, you guys have this one big giant, black or white looking device that the ISP connects to, and then magically just shoots up Wi-Fi, right? Well, that has a modem built in. Modem allows you to connect to the ISP. It's like almost like an encrypted channel, imagine like that. It allows you to get a connection with ISP. That is what modem does. All it does is allows you to talk to ISP. Now your router is for internal, anything for inside your house. It allows you to talk to other devices inside your house. And then it takes that, and you see here, there's only one connection to the modem and one connection from the modem to the ISP. So your router can connect multiple devices, but end of the day, when your ISP or your internet service provider it thinks that there's only one device connected. Okay. but you can connect multiple devices to it through wire or wireless through your router itself. Okay? Devices like phones, laptop, tablets, smart TV, and printers, routers, contacts, connects to ISP and shares internet. Now, when we talk about router here, we talk about the typical home modem, okay? The home modem or home router, which has 4-in-1, 3-in-1 type of thing. Then device can connect wirelessly or through Ethernet cable to your home router itself. Right? Does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
So what this is what office network looks like, and if you guys can see here, it looks a lot different from the internet itself, from the home internet itself, right? Like from this to this. So actually, at workplace, we don't replace the traditional. We will replace the traditional home router, as a 3-in-1 or 4-in-1. We don't like that because we want to be able to eliminate any issues we get, right? Now, if you guys ever faced an issue at home with your modem or your router itself, right? Rogers will typically say, "Hey, bring the modem in. Let me replace it for you." Um, let's say sometimes have you guys ever been in an issue where you don't have internet at home for 1 or 2 days, right? You guys probably had that issue where your
Yes.
modem just died, and then they'll think, "Okay, it's either we can ship you out a modem in 2 to 3 days." And if he's like, "Okay, what do I do for 2 to 3 days?" They're like, "I don't know," right? Because Rogers or Bell doesn't care for home users, to be honest. But on a business, you can't do that, right? So let's say instead of having all in one, we can split those devices up. We have a separate modem, we have a separate router, we have a separate switch, we have a separate Wi-Fi, also called as access points. So if any one of these dies except for the modem, we can easily swap them out, and we can still continue to do work. On a rare cases, modem goes away. Very rare cases, right? Router on a rare cases goes away. Router and modem are like a tank. They usually don't have any issues, but when they do, you at a typical a good workplace, you'll always have a swap, or you'll always have a spare laying around, or already there's redundancy built in. So if it fails, something else can take over. So your business can still happen. Imagine like Walmart, who has hundreds and thousands of stores across Canada itself, right? If their router goes up, they're not able to make a sale, and if they're not able to make a sale, they lose customer, right? And it trickles down like that. And I'll give you a typical. I'll give you one example that I give almost everyone last time too. One of the Walmarts the Walmart's main router at the headquarters had a crack. This was late 2021 or 2022, I believe. What happened was for about 12 minutes or 12 to 15 minutes, all the Walmart locations' debit card machines were not working. So they could not make any debit or credit sale using their computers. At per store level, in that 15 minutes, they have lost about $20,000 to $25,000 in sale. In a wide Canada-wide, North American-wide level, they lost about, I believe, $2 or $6 million in sale in the 15 minutes of outage. So you guys can imagine the magnitude of what happens when a network goes down in a business environment. So that's the reason why Rogers prioritizes Bell. Those two are biggest in the North American region. They prioritize network access for corporate much more heavier than the home user itself. Okay. Now, it typically doesn't go down unless it's a technician cost issue. This was a technician cost issue. They tried to do an update on the router, and the update failed, and that's the reason why. But they were able to quickly within 15 minutes. But that 15 minutes cost, I believe you guys can read it up online. It's like $2 or $6 million in loss in the 15 minutes, right? I think over 500 or 600 stores in North America. But that is a typical magnitude of losses a business will have, and that's the reason why they will always have a redundancy, which means if something fails, they also have a fail safe that should automatically kick in to make it work. Okay. Now, your typical thing is this is your internet to your ISP. Your modem acts as a connection between your router and the ISP itself. It's a binary. It's a middleman connecting. Okay. And your router is in charge of allowing you to connect a switch. You will have a 48-port switch or a 24-port switch. Sorry, in next class when I'm at home, I'll show you guys how a switch will look like and how an access point will look like too. As I said, I'm just stuck in middle of nowhere, so I'm just using this spot to get the class going. But I'll show you guys in next class how the actual physical device look like. And a lot of these router will have something called built-in firewall itself. Okay, so they're built-in hardware level firewall They're one of the best of the best, to be honest. They are maintained. They're very well secure. Well, if it's set up properly, and it's typically on the router level itself because they want to make sure no viruses get in from the network level. On a typical home device, you'll have it built in on the device level, right? Which we'll go through when we go into it later on. But okay, but you'll have all your wired connection to a switch. You'll have all the Wi-Fi connection through access point or wireless devices. And they will not just have one, guys. They'll if you look up on a corporate environment or if you go to any offices, look up on top. I'll show you guys next slide. It'll look like a fire detector devices. Those are all access point. They have it in Aruba. They have it in Cisco. They have it in Unify. They have many brands, but usually, typically, what you'll see is either Aruba or you'll see Cisco. This point, and I'll show you guys how it looks like. You guys can look up on the when you go to the office on the ceiling or on the wall itself. It looks something like this, and it'll just be hanged on the ceiling. It'll be like this, or it'll be a Cisco. This point. It looks something like this, right? And you guys will typically see these on Unify, and I'll show you guys this when I'm at home next class, and I'll show you this how it sits. Okay. And they also will have in their server room, they'll have a 48 port. It'll be Cisco, Aruba, whatever it is. But it'll typically look like this, where multiple devices can connect to it. And obviously, these are set up in a redundant way, right? So it doesn't fail. Even if it fails, and the whole office does not go down. It's always planned. It's there's a network in the network architecture. You'll learn how to do redundancy and everything, right? It's more a little bit more advancement into your career, and you guys move on to that route. Okay. Now, this is a grid that you guys just need to understand is what happens, what's the difference between wired and wireless, and what are the advantages and disadvantages are, right? Like for wired, you have speed is faster, more stable, but for wireless, it's slower and can fluctuate between speed, right? And for reliability wise, on wired is high reliability, not affected by walls. On Wi-Fi, signal can drop easily if you're near a microwave, if you're near a big concrete walls. Your Wi-Fi signal will diminish it, right? It'll pretty much you won't have anything, which means you have to get another wire to put in a wireless access point. Now, when COVID happened, I was in charge of setting up a lot of the COVID clinics across Durham region. And if you guys remember, in the COVID clinic time, we used schools for delivering medicines, right? Because schools were easy for us to access a lot of rooms, big spaces. But a lot of schools were built in when World War II or just after World War II. So they had to have a code for the wall thickness has to be at least 4 inches thick. 4 to 5 inches or 6 inches thick, just in case of any sort of attack or anything that, or some sort of disaster, right? So which means it caused a nightmare to set up networks in those schools. When we try to do access points, we had to literally tape, because it's temporary setup, right? We had to literally tape internet cables along the floor line so we can get access point to each one of those rooms. So when you do the medication, you can document it. It was a very challenging environment when the concrete wall is thick, your signals will drop. Okay, and also when you have microwave, you guys used to heat food. If you have that nearby your router too, your signal will drop. You guys can do some experiment if you have microwave. Just try bringing close to the Wi-Fi router and try turning on your microwave. Your signal will just go down because your microwave also affects the same radio length as the Wi-Fi router itself. Same with your old cordless phones, old cordless wireless phones. Those one will affect them as well, right? Next is flexibility, meaning the movability, right? For wired, there's not much flexibility. Once it's there, it's there. You have to do, you have to stick to that location itself. Whereas wireless, it's very mobile and easy to use. You can move around. You can. What I'm doing right now, I'm connected to Wi-Fi, and I'm just walk from the end of the store to the front of the store, where it's a lot quieter right now, right? So it's very flexible because of Wi-Fi itself. Usually, wired internet are always your servers are connected through wired internet itself, right? Servers are big computers that control your small computer, and we'll learn a little bit more about it when we go down the course, when we've done the introduction itself. It what allows you to control a lot of these a lot of these computers, so you can put rules on them, you can regulate them, you can say what they can do, what they cannot do. It can control. It acts like a master. And all the endpoint or the end devices like your laptop and your desktop will look at it as a master and become a slave, right? So that's why it is. Okay. And Wi-Fi is used for laptops, phones, tablet. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't use wireless on a laptop. You can, but laptops are meant for you to move around, so which makes Wi-Fi is more accessible. Okay? So when this is a term that might be asked you guys in the interview, which I've seen in the last year. Node. So what is node? Node is any device that connects to a network. Okay, so your computer is a node, your phone is a node, your printer is a node, your router is a node, your server is a node. If your TV connects to a network, it becomes a node too. It just means a device that receives a network connection. Okay. That's thing that just remember off your head. Just remember it, because when you go for an interview, when they say if you're having issues with the node, it's probably not. They don't want to see you technically solving it, but they want you to see when they say node, it means end device, because you guys will be working along with a lot of networking team to send reports or send escalate tickets, right? So which means some of the times when they use technical language, you guys need to be proficient in understanding. Okay, so node means anything that connects to a network itself. Okay. So this is called the OSI model overview. This is a little bit older OSI model itself, but this is still relevant if you think about networking itself. Okay? So it starts off with layer 1 and goes all the way to layer 7. In your role, you don't have to memorize this, but it's good that you guys can have an understanding of it, okay, where things can go wrong. And this is a very, very good example how you can do troubleshooting. Okay? It becomes very, very relevant when you do troubleshooting. So always when you start troubleshooting, you start at level 1, okay? Layer 1, which is a physical connection itself, okay? Which is a physical connection. The next we go into is your data link, which is your physical addressing, which is what we call as MAC address. MAC address are addresses that get assigned to each device, each node, or allows you to connect to a network, right? Even your internet port on your computer will have a MAC address. Your Wi-Fi card on your computer will have a MAC address. Your Bluetooth connection device has a MAC address. Your phone has a MAC address. And these addresses are unique to the device itself. It has been given to you by the manufacturer of the device, so it can never be changed. It can be spoofed. In the cybersecurity, you learn how the spoofing works, but it can be spoofed, but it can never be changed. It's hard written into the chip itself. Okay, that's how forensic investigators or polices can find if which device you have used to do criminal activity online or cybercrime. Right? It's using these MAC addresses. As long as these MAC addresses are owned by someone, they can figure out who owns it. What is these right? What information has been accessed and those type of things. Okay, they're hard coded on the computer. They can never be changed. But the only thing you have to understand is each port will have its own MAC address. Okay, so just to give you a quick example, we'll go through this command in the next class. If I do ipconfig, okay. So let me show you all the ports that's on my computer right now. Okay? So if you see here, this is my computer, Alderman Dell 541. Okay. There's several internet adapters. These are called virtual internet adapters. There's several in here. These are VirtualBox. You guys will not be touching these, but if you see here, this is my wireless LAN adapter. Okay. So this one is my Wi-Fi. Oh, go ahead. Anyone has any questions? Yeah, go ahead.
We cannot see what you're typing.
Screen.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
thank you so much for pointing it out, because I had one mini. This is why I didn't do. Okay, there you go. Now you should be able to see. Okay, you guys see the screen now, right? Thank
Yeah,
you so much for pointing it out. Okay, so what I did was, let me just start over. I just did this command. We'll go through this command next class. You guys will have a hands-on activity with this. But in this one, these VirtualBox are virtual adapters. It's not part of this thing. It's for virtualization. You guys will learn virtualization, but you won't do virtualization as part of your role. But if you scroll here, if I scroll down here, this is actually my wireless card itself on the laptop. Okay? So this wireless card, it has a name, Intel Wi-Fi 6E. This is the card thing, and this is the megahertz that the card runs in. Okay? This is a model number, the Wi-Fi modeling, and this is the model number of the Wi-Fi card itself. But if you see here, physical address itself. So this is the address that's been given to this chip, my Wi-Fi card, which looks something like this. Give me 1 second. I told you I have in my Bible. It's good that I have this in my bag because today, if I didn't, then okay, I just really not suck that thing. So they're like physically they look something like this. Okay, yes. So this is actually a wireless card that is in your computer, and there's two connectors that connects these ends. They're small cables, and that's what enables you to use wireless and Bluetooth. And this card in here, you guys cannot see this, but there is a physical address here. It says MAC address, and it says the numbering, right? This is the number. If I plug this into my card in the back in the motherboard, this will be shown. Let me stop this. This will be shown here, okay? This is the MAC address itself, and this is to the thing I cannot change this, but in a cyber criminal way, I can spoof it, I can change it, okay? But it's not permanent change, it's a temporary change. And if you see here, my Bluetooth also has a physical address itself, right? Because Bluetooth almost works in the same way as Wi-Fi, it's just a different frequency. But if you see these are both on the same chip, but they're two different numbers, okay? Because there's two different chips for it. And this is how they can trace back which computer this is from. And you can block a computer by a MAC address itself, okay? And once you block a device by MAC address, that device can no longer connect to Wi-Fi through the network itself, okay? Through your network. Okay. So next is the network. This is done by your router itself, okay? The network. This is run by your router protocol. The next is called end-to-end connection reliability. This is done by your router as well, your transport layer. Your session is also done by your router as well. Your presentation is done by your end device, okay? This is done by your computer or your cell phone. And your application is done by your cell phone or anything. This is a very older model, but this is still the basic foundations of networking itself. Now there's a newer one, which is only for networking, doing networking for programming. But as long as you understand, the first thing is whenever you troubleshoot something, you always start with the physical layer, which is the layer 1, okay? Which is always the level 1 network itself. If any device you take in, always check the physical connection before you do anything else. And I'll tell you a story when I first started off working as a help desk technician. Everybody starts off here, right? With you guys. I was troubleshooting an issue with there's a big auditorium. There's a big meeting going to happen. Their conference computer was not working for some reason, meaning they were not able to get the speakers to work when they do the presentation. This is at a hospital, so they're going to have a big session with these hospitals, with the directors coming in from doctors flying in from US and Middle East and everywhere just to do a conference, right? So the speakers were not working, so I was assigned the task of checking what's wrong with the speaker. I went in, I uninstalled the drivers, I went ahead and uninstalled the software and reinstalled the software. I rebooted the computer. I tested everything that you can think of, that I rebooted the computer. I reinstalled the computer as well with the new Windows, thought that it's thing. I unplugged the cable and plugged it back in, the speaker cables and those type of things, right? And can someone guess what the issue might be?
No idea.
The power to the speaker was not turned on. The switch for the power. The power. The power switch was turned off. So I wasted about 6 hours in trying to troubleshoot that. When a senior technician came in and he said, "Did you try the power?" And I was like, "I'm sure the power's on." He's like, "Are you sure?" Or, "Did you test it?" And I was like, "I'm sure." And he goes in, he finds the switch and turns it on. Everything worked. It's a silly thing, and I felt like I was schooled that day because I thought I had 2 years of experience. When that senior technician came in and he said, "Check the power," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm sure it turned on." The thing is, the lesson of it is, don't assume something is on, like something is there perfectly working. Always check it out yourself, right? That's why he taught me, and till this date, Whenever someone tells me that it's on, I always tell them, let's go and check it again and let's do it with our software. Let's check one more time, right? You'll be surprised of the amount of time that it's the cable that's not plugged in. It's the cable that's loose, Even if it seems like plugged in, take it out and plug it back in, You never know, and push it a little bit deeper or pull it out and push it in. It always makes a difference, So always start with a physical connection and then work your way up. Never start in the middle. Never start in the application. Always start in the physical. That's the moral of the story. It's always you always start at the physical level. Okay. Any questions, guys?
No.
Okay. So IP addressing subnetting, and usually, guys, in these classes, I leave a 10 minutes break at 30 minutes block. So we'll take a break in about 5 minutes. So you guys can grab a water or something like that, and I'll just grab a water and I'll come back to 10 minutes break. Okay. Nothing too fancy. Okay, so this one, we're going to talk about IP addressing and subnetting. As I said, you don't have to go so deep in remembering IP address and subnetting. You just have to understand what these are, okay? Understanding IP address and subnetting, the language of networks. What is IP address? IP stands for Internet Protocol, okay? So when you think about it, okay, so we have all these network and everything, right? Why was it invented? This was invented purely for military purposes. This was never meant for us, me, you, to anything, right? To watch YouTube or go on FaceTime or anything. It was purely for military purposes to share intelligence across different divisions or different regions in different military banks, right? But they thought it would be useful for civilians to use it to share network, share information, and that's what's been the great internet itself, right? So it's like it's like a home address for devices on a network itself. That's all IP address is. Your internet service provider will give you an IP as well. They'll give you IP as well. Your router will give your inside computers IP as well, and we'll look at this more in detail next class in hands-on activity as well. We'll actually do a class activity where we actually ping each other, and you'll see how the routes are taking. But every device needs one to communicate. Without an IP address, your device cannot communicate itself. Okay, communicate to anywhere itself. So you need to have an IP address for it to communicate. IP address equal communication. Okay. Types of IP addresses. There's two different types of IP addresses. Okay. There's something called IPv4 address, which is the most common addresses that you will see in the past. Nowadays, we have something called IPv6 addresses. It's newer, longer. There's public and newer and longer. Okay. When we talk about IPs, remember I said your ISP gives you modem or your router one address. Your ISP gives you modem or your router one address, and then your router gives your computer one address as well. Okay, those are what your ISP gives your router. It's called a public address. It's like think of it this way. The analogy I'm going to go back to is 4168 Finch Avenue East. If you are sending a mail to 4168 Finch Avenue East, Canada Post knows exactly where 4168 Finch Avenue is located. But if you were to say CTEC Training Center, Penthouse 05, Finch Avenue East, they don't know because there's no landmark to it, right? That's internal to the 4168 building itself. It's not the Canada Post does not care. It does not, give a flying shit, right? But internally, it's internal, right? So it's same thing. So when you put your letter as PH05, the Canada Post doesn't care. All it cares is it's 4168, and they give it to 4168 building management. The management knows where Penthouse 05 is, Penthouse 06, Penthouse 07, whatever it is, right? The management knows. It's the same thing. Your ISP gives you an address that is between yourself and the ISP. Your router handles internal IP address. Don't worry, it might seem confusing right now. In next class, we'll do a drawing and I'll show you exactly how it works, and you'll have a clear understanding of what these two are. Okay. Now, there's two ways of getting these addresses. This is where it gets slightly more into technical. There's something called static, which is a manual assign, and another thing is called dynamic, assigned by DHCP. The two is, it's like going to your, going to your master and asking for access, or if you're going to a hotel room, you are asking for a room number, they assign you a room number or something like that, right? Where they give you the room number. Where statically means you go in and you pick the room you want to stay in and you tell them you want to stay here, right? So that's the thing, okay? One is you try to request what you like or what you want. If it's available, they give it to you. Or you can allow them to assign you one, right? Always the rule of thumb is, if it's anything that's important on the network, it's always static. If it's anything like that is like to move around, like your laptop, your cell phone, that is always dynamic, because dy- because when you leave your router to handle the IP addresses, it does a way better job at it than you do manually. Unless it's something that you want to make sure it doesn't change. We'll talk more about the changing and those type of things. There's something called least speed and everything in the next class. But just understand static and dynamic, which is one is static means you like what you already know what you want, and you request for that and you try to get that one, right? Dynamic is I'm okay with anything, just assign me something, I just want to actually implement. Okay, that's the attitude. Any question, guys?
Mm,
How's the pace going for everyone so far?
Good.
Good, fast,
Yeah.
slow,
Good.
boring?
Yeah, it's good.
Good. Okay, perfect. Okay, guys. Let's do something. It's 8:30 right now. Let's take a 10 minutes break. You guys have your water break or something like that. I'm just gonna have a small break as well, 10 minutes break, and we'll meet back at 8:40. Okay, 8:40.
Got it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys. Sorry about that. I was just arranging my ride at 9:30 from this place because my car battery is completely dead, so it's okay. Okay, guys, let's get started. Sorry, this usually doesn't happen. It's just one-off time. That's usually why. And it happened to be on the first day of class. It's not a good impression, but sorry, guys. Okay. Okay, perfect. So subnetting. When we talk about subnetting on a network is right, when you have a big network, it creates it's sort of like imagine like you're going on a highway, right? When there's a small lane, because you're going to have one router is going to handle a lot of it, right? And if you have like hundreds of computers connected to it, it'll become slow. So what we can do is instead of one router, inside of a one router, we can divide into a different networks itself. We can create small networks to handle it better and to send traffic better, right? In terms of networking. When you think about networking, think of like traffic as well. Sometimes when there's so much cars entering into highway or into a lane, right? It creates a jam, which you don't want to do in a corporate side, right? We're talking about corporate side. In home side, you should not have any issues. As I said, you will not have more than 50 devices or 60 devices combined with everything, right? But in a corporate side, you will. You'll have easily like at least 300, 500 devices, even in a 50% working devices, right? In a factory or in an office itself. So you want to create they create something called small networks or small subnets to allow the traffic to be better handled and to have a faster connection itself. Okay? So what something allows it to do, it allows it to break up larger networks into smaller subnets. Okay? Subnets. It helps organize and secure networks. Example, let's say you have a couple of departments, right? For example, in a company, you'll typically have a sales, you'll have an IT department, you'll have an HR department, you'll have maybe North American department, you'll have one for maintenance and those type of things, right? Example, you don't need a sales department person to go on the same network as HR, right? Because they'll be in a totally two different line of work. The reason why, there's a couple of things. One is, to avoid traffic congestions, right? Network as well. And also you want to, sometimes you have someone's called rogue hires or insider threats where, sometimes these sales agents might come in as, I'm just saying typical, right? I'm not saying everyone is, but in a larger company, you might have issues where, sometimes the sales agent might try to steal data from HR and you want to, not be able to have that. You want to have that separation of duty. You'll create small networks and you'll say that the sales personnel cannot access anything in the HR directly. They don't need to. And vice versa. HR does not need to access anything in sales. You want to have it's called separation of duty. And you learn this part of your service delivery when you go into service delivery and those type of things, right? Which means like, you want to make sure they're doing something called separation of duty. Not one person or not an individual or not a group of people cannot hurt the company itself, or they cannot steal the trade secret. They cannot, leak out information. It can be controlled better. It's just a secure network itself. Okay? And subnet mask define how many devices can be in the network itself. And in the next class, I'll show you guys exactly how to look at it, and you'll have a very good view, a very basic view on, you can understand, okay, in this network, these are maximum amount of devices. And we can do a test on your home network too, to see how much computers or how much nodes you can connect to the network itself, right, on your home network. And you'll just by looking at it, you'll understand how to calculate. Okay, we'll go on in the next class, we'll have a live session, we'll have a live class. Okay. IP addressing and subnetting made easy for help desk analyst, which you will be playing. Okay. Let's make IP simple. Every device on network needs an IP address to be found, to communicate, to do its work, right? It's like a phone number, unique, and it tells where to send data. Internally in your computer too, you have a unique IP address. It can change as well. Okay, when you're allowed to change dynamically, it can change, and you can assign a manual key. Right? We'll look at it in the next class. The exact in our work group. We'll see how to look at it, and we'll see how to dissect it, and we'll see everything hands-on. Okay. Two main types of IPs. There's something called IPv4, which we looked at, which is easy to recognize. It'll be a number 192.168 something or 172. It depends on each network type. They'll have a different numbering, right? But it's a number. It's a binary base. Okay, it's ones and zeros, and it converts into these numbers. Okay. You don't need to go so deep into binaries, but just understand IPv4. You'll see it as pure number. It's easy to read, and as soon as you look at it, you should know it's IPv4. IPv6 is more complex, but it's future-proof. Dynamic IPs change automatically. Static stays same, which we covered. Now, we talked about IPv4 and IPv6. I'll tell you the backing behind IPv4, and you might think, okay, why is there IPv4 and IPv6, right? What difference does it make? So back in the day, when the military started developing this internet protocol and for using it, right, they never thought this was going to be civilian use. Hey, and even till 1995, 1996, until mass usage of internet, they didn't know that there's going to be so much people going to use it, right? Imagine your cell phone data, it needs an IP address, unique IP address, right, from the ISP itself. And your router at home will need a unique IP address, right? So if you think about, just take a guess. At home, we have one router, right? So I have one router at home. I have two routers at home, to be honest, and I have two cell phones that I carry on myself. So each one is a network, right? A maximum IPv4 address you can create in the world is around like 4 billion something, 4 point something billion addresses you want to create, and we're going to surpass that. We already surpassed it, but they thought we're going to surpass it very soon. We're going to run out of IP. You can actually run out of IP in the network, right? ISP works the same way too. You can actually run out of IP addresses. So they created something called IPv6, which has a mixture of numbers and letters, uppercase, lowercase numbers, to make it more accessible for everyone. And you can never run out of IPv6 addresses for the next 100 years or something like that. And just to show you guys some numbers, here, I'll show you guys here. Just to show you guys here, I'll just go on Google and type in IPv4 usable. So there's only 4.2 billion addresses you can ever create with IPv4 in the world, whole entire world itself, right? But if you just take a look at IPv6, it's like in the octillion or something like that. It's like this number is not readable. I don't know how to read it, but it's like octillion. This cannot be run. This cannot run. You cannot run an IPv6 address. It doesn't matter for the next 100 to 150 years. It's not possible. And you can give each one of the person in the world, hundreds of devices, unique addresses. You'll never run out. Okay, maybe maybe in the next 50 years we might. I don't know, but we might. But there'll be something new created. But as of right now, IPv6 is something that every company is using. Okay. And the IPv6 address will look something like, if I have IPv6 address. No, I have it disabled. That's okay. I'll show you how IPv6 address will look like. If I go into, we'll see this in the next class as well. We'll go a little more in depth. What is my IP address? So this is what we call as IPv4 address. IPv6 is not detected. Okay. The router at this place, I'm at a different place right now. So I'm in offshore right now, right? I told you I'm in the convenience store running this thing. I was lucky enough to get it, but I'll show you what an IPv6 address will look like. And it'll look like letters and numbers, and it's just a bigger scheme. It looks something like this. So it looks something like this, it'll have numbers, uppercase letters, and it can have lowercase letter too. I know, and it's just a bigger string itself. And it's just meant to allow more devices to connect, okay? That's the reason why IPv6 is more future-proof, and everybody's going towards IPv6 now, okay, instead of IPv4. It's just because they already know we're going to run out soon. Internally and as well as thing as well, okay? Okay. And static means we assign it ourselves. Usually they're assigned to printers are usually static IP address, because we don't want the IP address to change. We don't want to always keep on finding where our printer is located in the network itself, and as well as servers, right? Because you don't want the servers to change. Imagine your master is changing location all the time. You don't know where to go and find him, right? So we want to keep it static. We want to keep him, make sure he doesn't change. But everything else is dynamically assigned and it's taken care of by our router itself. Okay? And we'll go through these IPv6 and IPv4 a little more in depth and hands-on next class. This is just more of a theory base. Okay? Subnetting without mask. Think of subnet like breaking a big apartment building into small units. Subnet mask tells where the network ends and where the devices begin. Example, and I'll show you guys right now. If you see on a network, it's 255.255.255.0, which means you can connect 254 devices in one network itself. Okay. So if you guys are using Windows, which are you guys all using Windows computer right now, or are you guys using Mac? Is anyone here using
Windows.
Mac? Windows. Okay. Is anyone here
Windows.
using Mac? Windows. Perfect. Okay. So if anyone using Mac, it's slightly different, but you can do the same thing. If you are, just let me know. But if you open up your start menu on the bottom and just search for CMD, which is Charlie, Mary, David, CMD, and you'll see something called command prompt. Okay, let me open that. And this is what this command you guys will learn to memorize it, know it off of heart, which is called IP is in India Papa config, CONFIG. C as in Charlie, O as in Ontario, N as in Nancy, F as in Frank, I as in India, G as in Golf. And when you click on enter, so remember this command I showed you before. So if you see here my Wi-Fi, I'll just go with my Wi-Fi here, okay? So this says the IPv4 address. When this says IPv4 address, this is my computer's address in the network itself, okay? This is what my computer's, this router, this place is giving me this this number, or this phone number, or this address as 192.168.1.124 is my computer, what is located on the network itself. Now, this is, if you see the default gateway, this is a router's address, okay? So my computer knows who to contact if they want to communicate outside the router. So which means if I want to, I'm talking to you guys in Google Meet. So it needs to know how to contact Google Meet is I need to contact router first, and the router will tell me where to go or get the information for me, right? So I need to know what is the exact address for me to reach my router. But here you have something called subnet mask. So this is where you saw the example here, 255.255.255.0. This 0 on a network, you see this, which means the last number can be changed. And it can start anywhere from 1 to 254. It's not 255. Technically, you only use up to 254. So I can connect at the maximum on this network is 254 computers. And in sometimes in a bigger network, you'll have 10.0.0.0. And that means you can have multiple computers, and it's like it's 2 to the power of, I believe it's 2 to the power of 24, so 2 to the power of 8. Sorry, 8 bits. Yeah, 2 to the power of 8. That's how it goes, and it's more you need it if you're going into the networking field, and you guys will learn that 2 to the power of 8 how it works and everything. But for your concern, if there's a 0, it means that the last number can be changed anywhere from 1 to 254. Okay. In this router, which I'm connected to, it gave me a least number called 192.168.1 will never change. This number cannot be changed. Okay, this is called your network address. This is why, remember I told you the same theory as if I'm located in 4168 Finch Ave East, I'm in penthouse number 5. My institution is located, right? So this number is penthouse 05. But the 4168 Finch Ave East cannot be changed, right? It's a physical location itself. It can never be changed, because if I change it, then I'll be in a completely different building. So this one cannot be changed, because this tells me which one can be changed. This is all 4. 255 is a maximum number on IPv4 address, okay? This is an IPv4 address. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
And like this one, as long as you understand the subnet mask, when it ends at 0, the last number can be changed. If this is 0 as well, this number can be changed. Okay, if this is 0, then this number can be changed. You'll never have this number as 0. You can have it a low number, 10 or something like that, but this number always has to have something for it. Okay, the first one. Real helpless example is if you ever see this number here, as 169.255. If you see ever this number as 169.254, this means you're not getting DHCP, which means your router is not leasing you an IP address to borrow. It's not allowing you to borrow an IP address. Couple of things are your computer can be blocked on the network. Remember I told you can block a MAC address, or it's just filled with, it already reached its maximum amount of leasable or givable address, right? So that's the reason why if you ever in an interview question, if you say you open up a computer and go into CMD and you type in IP config and you see 169.254, always think your router is not giving you a DHCP address, or it's not connected to the router. So remember, when we go into physical connection, you have to see that, okay? The next is IP conflict, which means two devices using the same addresses or same IP address. The only way you can ever get the same address, is if you assign it manually. I'll give you an example. When I was working in the hospital, right, as an IT operations manager, one day, I believe it was a Monday after a long weekend or something like that, or just before the Christmas break or something happened, and none of the people at the workplace can log into the computer. It's because the main server crashed, and we didn't know what the hell happened. Like, we just all came from a break. We didn't know what happened. We were able to trace back. We did have a small thing a technician did. There was a computer that was turned off from years ago. They tried to turn it on to take some data out for a project they had, right? So they turned it on, they connected to the network, and they got all the information out. But all of a sudden, on I believe on a Saturday or Friday night, everything just shut down. We didn't know because we were on long weekend, right? So everybody was just working. Everybody was just off. This was like off, right? But what happened was the computer that we turned on back in the day, because it was a server, it had address assigned to it manually. So, and the current server had the same address as well. So when this was turned on, both were turned on at the same time, had the same address. Both devices not work. The reason's this way, right? Imagine like this: Canada Post, you ship a post out to 4168 Finch Ave East building. You send a letter out, and 4168 Finch Ave East has a big board saying this is the building, right? And imagine just opposite to it, there's another building that says 4168 Finch Ave East. The Canada Post will be like, okay, what the hell? There's two different addresses, and it might think, okay, if I gave the letter to the wrong person, it can end up in someone's wrong person's hand, right? So I don't want to take the risk. So I'll keep the letter with myself until they figure it out. That's exactly what your router does. It's like, okay, both of you guys have the same thing. You guys figure it out because you did it manually. If I'm in charge, I'll change IP address. That's fine. But because you assigned it manually, I'm not gonna touch it. You guys figure it out, and then you guys let me know what you guys want to decide, right? So it'll just drop the packets. It will not send any information or receive any information. Okay, that means when you see IP conflict, there's two or more devices. One device plus another device has the same. Two or more devices have the same IP addresses. Okay, that's what IP conflict is, and you'll get them on Linux, Mac, Windows, any node that it connects to. You'll have this issue. Okay. And you'll also have another issue, common issue at workplaces, cannot connect to a printer. The first thing you always want to make sure is to go on the printer, and you can actually get that IP address, the subnet mask, and the router's address, okay, from the printer itself. And you can get your computer, which you're trying to print from, IP address, subnet mask, and default gateway as well. And you want to make sure they both are in the same network, meaning the default gateway is the same, and you want to make sure the subnet mask is the same. If they're different, which means they're a totally different network. Unless it's been allowed to do that, you might have issues with printing. Okay, so that's something called a network level block or a subnetting issue. And you can just pass this on to your networking team. They'll deal with it. It's not something you deal with. Okay, it's something they have to set up on the router side itself. Okay, does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Perfect. Any questions so far, guys, about the things we talked about?
No, all clear so far.
Okay, perfect. Very good. Okay, so now we're going to talk about, so we talked about the IP address and the first layer of network and how it works and everything, right? So from 192.168 to internet. How does this work? Oh, so, okay, we talked about IP address. We talked about, your router. We talked about how the communication works and IP addressing. But how does an IP address translate to, google.com or youtube.com? How does it work? So what do these numbers mean is 192.168.1.100. This is the IP address at home or office, right? Which I showed you on my laptop right now. It tells your computer where to send the data and receive data from, which is what your IPv4 address is, right? Like here. This is my IPv4 address. So all the other computers in the network, all the nodes, if they want to contact this other than Dell 514-5410 computer, it knows exactly where it's located, right? On a network itself, where to send and receive data. But a peek inside Internet Address Book, IP is Internet Address, which we talked about. There's actually something called, because remember this, numbers are not really memorizable by human brain. If you think about it, our human brain cannot memorize numbers in a long format, okay? But we can memorize letters. It's because that's how our brain is wired to do. So there's something called DNS, and all it does is it says if you were to type in google.com, and google.com is also a server, which means it also has an IP address, okay? For us, it's easier to memorize google.com, but we cannot memorize Google's IP address. It's hard, which I'll show you guys here is, if I just do ping google.com, I'll just show you guys the IP address of Google. So this is actually where google.com is located. And if you guys try ping google.com, which we'll do next class, not a problem at all. Next class will be more hands-on activity. You guys will find out, you guys will have a slightly different address, or maybe same address, it doesn't matter. But the thing is, the google.com is located here. But imagine if, Austin, you tell me, man, if I was to say, okay, can you memorize 142.250.137.139 every time you want to google.com, do you think that's going to be easy for you to memorize?
No.
Yeah, right? Like, it's going to be, okay, what the hell, man? Like, you just gave me, I can't even memorize my mom's cell phone number. How do you expect me to memorize this, right? You're going to be like, what the hell? But then that's the reason why DNS helps us. But it's easy for us to memorize google.com because it's just so much easier. It fits in. It's just we memorize letters like that, right? We memorize letter formats like that, right? So that DNS helps us to convert names into IP address, and it's called DNS. Okay, DNS. IPs can be reused privately or be globally unique, which we'll talk about the globally unique part. I just want to clearly draw you guys a picture, which will help you guys see that difference. I'll do it next class in our lab session. I'll draw a clear understanding of how this works. Okay. What's my address on the network? Just like mail needs your home address, the internet needs your IP address as well. Every phone, laptop, and printer has its own address, which we just saw by typing in IP config. And it depends on what port you're connected through to the network. It changes, right? Let's say if you're connected through a wired network, you'll have it in your wired connection. Your internet connection is, my internet adapter is this one. This is my actual internet adapter. I'm not connected through wire, so that's why I'm not seeing anything here. But if I was to, be connected through wired, this is where I'll see the IP address here instead of wireless. I just cannot show you guys a wired connection right now. I just don't have the capacity to plug in, but this is where you'll see the wired connection here, okay? But these are all virtual ports, so that's okay. Yeah, this is where that is where exactly you'll see my IP address, DNS. I'm sorry, my DHCP. Sorry, my IPv4 address, subnet mask, and default gateway. Okay. Now the other command that you guys already I showed you guys, or I just skipped showing you guys, was ipconfig. This gives you a short list, a beautiful list. Okay, so because if you don't want to get too nifty-gritty into it, you just want to get the address. But there's one, if you want to get more information, you just put a slash. And it's called a /, guys. This is a /, and this is a /. Okay. In Windows, we use /. We do that and type in all. This will give you pretty much expanded details on these on the ports itself. Okay. Which I'm going to talk about the LAN, but it depends on which port you're connected to. It'll be thing, which gives me the description, which gives me the MAC address. And if you see, this one is DHCP enabled. It's not statically assigned. Okay. So the router is giving me the address, IPv4 address. Okay. Auto configuration means it's allowed to change address depending on if the router has decided to change it or something like that. Okay. And this is my IPv4 address, which we looked at before. This is a subnet mask, which I explained to you guys too, right? And then if you guys see here, you guys see another thing. It's called lease update. Remember, I told you when a router gives you an address on a DHCP on a dynamic mode, right? It allows you to borrow it. It doesn't give it to you permanently. Okay, it's almost like a borrowing. You never own it permanently. Some routers will have it set as, okay, you can borrow it only for 4 hours. You can only borrow for 2 hours. You can only borrow for 24 hours. Some will be a month. Some will be a year. It depends on how the company set up. The reason why they set these DHCP lease time is, let's say you are on a big corporate environment, right? And you're working. Sometimes you work from home, sometimes you work from office, right? So, but remember, we see there's a limitation to a network, right? We can connect only so many devices. Let's say you go on a vacation or you're working from home, like pretty much 2 weeks at a time, and then you only come back 2 weeks for work, right? In that case, your IP address should not be reserved for a month, right? We can give you an IP address every 12 hours because we know you're not going to be at office for more than 12 hours. You're not going to be working for more than 12 hours, but you might be working for more than 4 hours, 8 hours, right? So if we can give you a lease time, okay, every 12 hours, we'll switch your IP address if we do need to, okay? So this means my IP address was obtained on June 30th at 7:34 p.m. As I said, my car's stuck and I had to touch in and ask them permission and log in. At 7:34 p.m. today, I logged into the network itself, right? Until 10:34 p.m., which is what, about 3 hours, I have access to this IP address. And after that, when it renews, I might get a new address or I can keep the same address. The router will decide based on its availability and it does its calculation right in the back. Okay? That's what the lease obtain matters, is how long you have the lease. Yeah. Now, there's something called default gateway, which is, remember we talked about, that is a router's address. And also you have something called DHCP server. Who's actually giving me these addresses? It usually is on a home network. It's actually a router. But in a corporate environment, you might have multiple DHCP servers because you don't want to have one. Remember what we talked about, right? If you have one, then it's called a single point of failure. This is something you guys want to memorize. You always, they'll, on a proper office network, they will always try to avoid single point of failure. Okay? You don't want one place where it fails. So you'll have multiple addresses filled in here. So in case something stops working, you have another one to back it up and work. You'll never see a network ever be out of order. You'll always see something. You'll be working somehow. Okay. Same thing, DNS. This is what in charge of translating any IP address or name to an IP address, right? In a home network, we just need one because it's okay to have a single point of failure. But in a corporate environment, you never want to have a single point of failure. So you'll have obviously multiple DHCP server. Okay. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
Yes. Is it easier for you guys to understand? If I'm going too fast, please let me know, because I had a lot of coffee today, so I'm just running out of caffeine. So if I'm going fast, please don't worry. I won't take it anything wrong or anything. I just want to know. I don't want to go too fast on this. Okay. Anyone have any questions?
No.
No. Okay. So if I was to ask you, anybody can answer. As I said, what is the purpose of DHCP?
Purpose of DHCP is
that's okay. No worries. Remember we talked about DHCP is in charge of issuing you IP address, right?
dynamic IPs.
Exactly. So it is in charge of giving you leasing you IP addresses, right? It's a leasing.
Yes.
Yes, perfect. And what about DNS?
DNS is converting your request from IP address to name, like google.com or
yeah. And usually you want to say like this: DNS, it does name to IP address, not IP address to name. Usually it's one way. It's name to IP address.
Name to IP address.
Yeah. That's because you can have multiple IP address tied to a name. You'll see.
Yes, correct.
You can see when we do the next session, you'll see youtube.com will have like 6 IP addresses assigned to it. Because remember that YouTube only makes money if you go and watch their videos, and in the videos you watch ads, right? They don't make money if you cannot access them, right? So they want to make sure you have multiple servers you can reach in case one ever goes down. And trust me, guys, when you talk about Google and YouTube, they have thousands and thousands of servers. Thousands of those, because that's how they make the money, right? Like that's why they're so rich. It's from the advertisement, right? So that's the reason why they have multiple of those. And we'll see them in the next class how to actually pull it up. And you guys might see a different IP address than me, list of IP addresses depending on the area you're located at. If you're in a different province or different country, you'll be a little bit more fun too. Okay. Very good, very good. Okay, so I'll ask you this then. If you ever see an IP conflict, what does that mean?
IP conflict basically is when two nodes have the same IP address.
Two or more. Yeah, very good.
Two or more.
Same. Yeah, two or more. And what is the main cause of those? Do you know?
Because when this happens, it cannot tell where to send the data to the router or henceforth.
Very good. But do you know why? How can this happen?
This can happen because if you're using mostly static IPs.
Very good, very good. Yeah, it only happens when you're using static IP. Your router, when it's set, I mean, when your nodes are set to DHCP, this will never happen because your router is always perfect. It's an error between the keyboard and the chair, which is a technician, right? So, but yeah, very good, very good. It's very good. Okay. So how do I get an IP? DHCP gives out an IP address automatically. Sometimes we assign them manually, which is static IP, which we just talked about. You can find yours with IP config, which I just showed you guys, right? Okay. So what we'll do is this. Just for the first day, it's already 9:15. We'll end it off here because after this, next class, we'll actually have our practice and practical sessions at this point, okay? From this point. And next class will go on from part two of networking. So what I would suggest you guys do is watch the videos on. You guys will get access to the LMS. So like in about 2 hours. Soon as I get home, I'll release you guys. I'll send it through WhatsApp. You guys will have the login details and those type of things. You guys will see a course code called ITHD-FEB. Okay, I'll send it to you guys in your thing too. Log into it.
I just want to ask you one question. What does LMS stand for?
Learning management system, I think. Learning management system. Let me look it up.
Okay.
I think it's called. I think so. That's a good question.
Yeah, because you said LMS access, so I was wondering what.
Learning management system. I was right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was okay. Yeah, learning management system. So it helps us to, instead of sending you videos one by one or giving you assignments by email, it's easier for us to, put it in. It's easier for us to track which students is where, which part you're in. That's the reason why this course code helps us. In the email communication too, I'll show you guys how to do the course code and everything next week.
Basically, is like a portal.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like this, exactly what you're seeing here.
Okay.
So it'll be look like this. You guys log in. You guys can only access the course you guys have access to, which if your guys are the IT help us. You guys see it later on today. We go in here. You'll be able to see like your setups and those things. This is for ethical hacking, but yeah, you guys will be. It's just ethical hacking January batch. So yeah, this is what it'll make it based on, right? So
okay.
If you ever lost your Google Meets, you can go in here and get it from here. Get the link.
Okay, got it.
And my email address is always here, the instructor email address. And then this is one if you ever need to CC. And I'll show you guys all of that. Don't worry. I'll show you guys the formal. Next week, we'll go through the agenda. Will be the first 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. We'll talk about the previous recordings, which is week 1 and week 2 recording. We'll cover that. And then I'll show you guys what you guys need to understand about emailing at workplace. Because just, you guys might already know this. That's okay. Just 10 to 15 minutes of what they expect at workplace, the communication formalities and those type of things. So, and that's how going forward we'll do the communication. Okay. And,
so we'll be getting assignment today, or
no? There's no assignment. The assignment today is just to watch these videos. Okay. Next week you'll have assignment because if I give you an assignment, it'll just be partly, not finished, right? So next week you'll have the networking assignment.
Oh, got it.
Okay. Okay, guys. Any questions?
Any questions?
How do you guys like the class today? You guys learned something new? A refresher?
Refresher for me.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Hey.
I'm already aware of these, like a networking thing because I did masters in networking. So.
Oh, okay. Perfect. And you might know more than me. You might know more than me.
No. The only thing I don't have experience in this because I haven't worked in this because
right.
I did my masters way years back. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No problem. No problem at all.
Anyways, thank you so much for reminding me one more time. Like,
Yeah, no problem at all. Anyone else? I know there's a couple other people who are supposed to join today, but they unfortunately because of the weather and like just myself, I got stuck right now and I'm waiting for my ride to come in. It's unfortunate, but I always like to have my face showing on the camera so you guys can see. But next week it'll be all perfectly fine. Don't worry. Knock on wood. But I'll meet you guys. If you guys are the one who's Deepak, how was today's class? I'm sorry, I'm just going back to the. How was today's class?
This is pretty
Great.
fine. So like I'm just getting all the stuffs right. Like as I said,
Yeah.
I don't have much experience, but still, like I have go through some. I can manage. Like I can draw some outline where these things
100%.
are going.
And trust me,
better, like-
next class you'll have a much more better. You'll see because we'll have hands-on activity. You'll have a much more better hands-on work with it, right? So you'll get a little bit more clear work. And next week when I start drawing things and showing to you, and I like to use paint, you guys will see thing. It'll start making a little more sense when you work with it. And once you start watching the pre-recorded videos too, it'll add more context to the back end, like the foundation of it.
Yeah.
I think all combined
And,
together, it should be like 1.5 to like 1 hour or something like that. All the videos, it's like 10 minutes videos. So nothing too draining.
so I have one question. The thing is, IT help desk analyst. This job mostly related to the networking field, or
No, so it's a bunch of everything.
or is it better to
be
know
honest.
the concepts of the networking? So it will be
Yeah,
helpful in the job.
because let's say this, right? If somebody calls you and says, "Hey, Naveen, I'm not able to log into my computer. I don't know what's happening," right? You need to know this is because it could be that they're not plugged in properly, or they're on a where DHCP is not getting issued to their computer, right? If it's getting 169.254, then it helps you diagnose the issue and help them solve the problem.
Troubleshoot it.
Right further, and it gives you a little bit more push, and you'll seem more confident in it when you know this. Yes, if you don't know this, you can figure it out, but it'll take you 3 times more longer, and you'll be doing guesswork a lot than solving it right away.
So this particular job doesn't require CCNA certification or something like that, or
Not for entry level. CCNA a little more when you go into the job, and when you wanna go into networking. See, as I said, if you guys watch the 30 minutes video, I think I explained there's a lot of CCNA, networking plus, there's cybersecurity certificates. They're all good, but they're more required when you have 1 year experience in IT and you want to specialize in something. You're good, but if you get that certification, right? I see that sometimes it hurts people because if you go for interview, this is what I think, right? This is how the reason, because I learned from another guy who's been working as a director for almost 30-40 years. So he tells me this, and it makes sense. Okay, if somebody coming to me for interview for level 1, right? A level 1, level 2, level 1, level 2, if they come with a CCNA, cybersecurity license, what I think without experience is, what I would think is this. What happens is this too also, because I'm only paying them for entry level, $20, $24 an hour, which is like 40, 45, 50K per year on a full-time basis, right? I know the salary is not enough, but if this person has this much advantage, what they're going to do is they're going to come here, work with us for about 6 months, 1 year, and they're going to look for another opportunity that's going to pay them bigger, right? Because they're just here to take the opportunity. So which means when you think about it from a hiring standpoint, when I hire someone at a hospital, which I'm talking about hospitals because that's where majority of my life I've spent, right, in public hospitals, it costs us roughly around $20,000 to the hiring. If I was to hire someone from, like, say, if I'm hiring Naveen, right, do the interview and everything, to onboard you, to train you, it costs me around $20,000 to $30,000 to hire you. And the thing is, the cost is all under cost, right? Which means if I'm doing the interview for you for 1 hour, I get paid $65 to $70 an hour, and I need to have another person with me when I'm doing the interview. It can never be just myself, right? It could be a team lead, which gets paid, $45 to $50 an hour. So in that call for 1 hour, we're spending around $150 an hour, right? And then after that, we'll be, and then we'll be, HR is going to come in. HR is going to get paid about $40 an hour. And then we're going to have, the background check that's going to be, done for another like $500-$600. And the training session, which we're going to have, that 4-day training in the hospital, we'll be spending around, $2,000 to $3,000 or to $5,000, depending on the training and the day you come in, right? And then it takes me 2 months to train you. So if you look at all that, it goes to $25,000 to $30,000 with another person getting involved to train you and those type of things, right? It becomes very costly. But if you jump within 6 months, I lose money. You know, I lose ROI, right? My department money. So for me, when I see the certification, I don't hire them for entry level. And then you get stuck, and a lot of people think the same way. And you get stuck is because they think that you have certification but no foundational knowledge, right? And they can't hire you because you don't have any knowledge for networking, and you can't get hired for entry level because you have too much knowledge for it.
Okay.
And they'll think you're a flight risk. It's called a flight risk in terms of management, because you could be potentially a candidate that will look for a new opportunity as soon as it arrives, right? So it costs us more. So that's the reason why I say these certification, work with your manager and your team lead to get the certification paid for you at work.
Okay. And like initially, you mentioned about this a CompTIA networking, sorry, CompTIA certification.
Mhm.
And after that, after this course is complete, you're going to get the certification as well, right? So this certification is not related to CCNA certification, I guess, right?
No. So the
This
certification
is
that
the certification to get into the IT help desk analyst position.
yeah. So usually for these ones, we'll give you guys 3 or 4 next week, because I'm getting the report from the recruiters. But it always for the last quarter, for the last 4 months of last year, I'll tell you what 2025 first quarter looked like. First quarter, which is January, February, March, April, right? Those first quarter of 2025 was AC 900 was very good for entry level. MS 900 was very good for entry level, and ITIL Foundation was very good for entry level. And then it was CompTIA A plus. Okay, this was the first quarter. And then the last quarter of 2025, the AZ 900 is going to expire in March of 2026, which is in 2 months, right? So they said it's still good, but they moved it on to the 4th place. They moved the ITIL to the 3rd place, and they brought AZ 900 and CompTIA A plus to 1 and 2nd. It's the most required certification from the employer at the time. So, which I'm still waiting for the results to come in for this quarter. It's only started now, right? So I should be getting it in next week, and I'll share that with you guys as soon as I get it. But I'm very positive it still is AZ 900 and CompTIA A plus.
Okay.
AZ
Yeah,
900.
even
Yeah, go ahead.
I believe so, sir. Like, because once I spoke to you, I just researched something on the Indeed and everything, like LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So whatever the post, like the upcoming hirings and everything, they are completely looking for, like, especially A plus.
Yeah. And if you look at, like, if you go back to 2025 beginning, you'll see ITILs more. That's a switch. And the guys, and you guys don't have to worry, because the A plus training videos that we have and the AZ 900 videos we have, people have used it and passed it. And the AZ 900 should not take you more than 2 weeks, 3 weeks at the max. If you're doing 1 hour or 2 hours per day studying, 2 weeks should be more than enough. And you'll get a 50% off coupon. I'll show you guys the link for it. It's just a seminar you guys have to join. It's a free seminar. And then the CompTIA A plus, we have a discounted voucher as well. I'll share that exact cost with you guys next week.
Okay. I just have a question.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So, like, since this will be an entry level position,
Mhm.
like some of us we have certain in-depth knowledge. So, will there be like a mock call, like a junior analyst mock call? How much to what level should we handle that?
Like you mean like a mock interview type of thing?
Yeah, no, like a mock test call. Like, suppose I'm calling a customer's calling me, and I'm handling the first level support. Till what level should I handle like a mock call, like this for test? Because as per the first level support, you don't have to give too much support, right?
Yes. So we don't have something called mock call, but all the assignments are created in a way that's for level 1, 1.5. They're very clearly laid out, and you cannot do more than that. That's
okay.
You'll have all the assignments are built like that.
That's a limit of the support.
Yeah, exactly. And guys, and this is the thing, right? Like, some companies will give you a little more access, some companies a little more restricted, right? I know when you go to the banking industry, it's heavily restricted. But when you go into like construction, you have like you can pretty much go to the log into the router and do everything. It depends on each company itself.
Okay. The policies of the company. Okay.
Yeah. But majority of the time, the assignments we work with, we take the top like the top 40% companies, and we see exactly what type of access they want you to have.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. And because these assignments are literally taken from workplaces that the agency has told us this is what they want us to do. This is how we devise them, right? Like, over the 4 years, we have changed them, to what the current market needs. Like, what 1 year ago, 2025 starting assignment is different from what you guys have right now.
Okay.
Because 2025 was, heavily on designing Azure, like the portals and everything. It's not as in depth as right now because the access was different back then. Right now, the access is different. They expect you guys to do a little bit more, actually, to be honest, than what they expected in 2024 middle to 2025 beginning. The first quarter of 2025 to the mid quarter of 2024 was completely less access, restricted. You can only do this part in the thing. Now, right now, because of there's some new advancements, you can actually do a little bit more.
Okay.
And because here's the thing, right? Corporate environment, they want to get the lowest end guy to do the most amount of work to get more of return on investment, right? If I can get you to do level 2 support on level 1 pay, why not? That's the thing, right? With a limited access.
Because of the competition and the job market.
Yeah, and the more you guys know, the better it is. That's the reason why we try to go beyond what the access level. You guys will learn RBAC. RBAC is like level 2, 1.5 level 2.
RBAC?
Oh, okay, RBAC. We'll get into it. That's a huge world. It's called role-based access control.
Oh, okay.
So imagine HR will Azure by default. Azure has a set of rules that HR can do. A company can create an RBAC rule too, saying that, okay, because there could be a unique set of skills that the company has, right? They can create a rule. Your system administrator or your Azure developer, Azure architect can create a rule saying that, okay, IT level 1 can only have this access. Before, there used to be there used to be a particular person or one team called access controller, access provisioning team. Or access controller, access provisioning team. You'll create the account, you'll onboard them and give it to them. They'll add the permissions in. They're getting 60, 65, 70K. Now, instead of them getting, paying one person or one team for access control, why don't we we can create something called template. So I can create, okay, I know what exactly this level 1 will do. Now, in the future, there might be a little bit of add-ons. That's fine. We'll add it on when we need them. But let's create a template. So when somebody joins in the organization as level 1, we'll assign them this role. This like almost like a binder of access.
Okay.
Once you put them in, it's like a cookie cutter, right? I cut you the cookie and you have the exact shape. That's called RBAC. And it's just like a role-based access control. And you cannot do more than your role, and you shouldn't do less than your role. It gives you right permission. Now, I can add on more roles if I need to. If you're level 1, maybe you're doing some networking. Okay, here's some access to the particular access you need from the networking itself.
Okay.
Yeah, it's creating a profile, basically, for you.
So this is all, RBAC is all part of Azure?
Yeah, it's all part of Azure, and you'll learn how to assign. You'll learn how to assign RBAC. What you will not learn is how to create RBAC, because creating RBAC is administrative level task.
Okay.
It's a lot involved. It's architecture and administrative level work, and it's working with HR. Different part of organization creating it. That's a whole role itself.
Okay.
But RBAC, and you learn troubleshooting sign-in logs, which is one of the huge, because you can go in and bang your head and see. If I tell you, hey, I'm not able to log in. Austin, you wouldn't know the difference between if I was to enter my username incorrectly, my password incorrectly, or did I put in my MFA incorrectly? Like you wouldn't know that, right? So you need to know exactly where to look within a given amount of time and be able to solve that issue, right? And you learn how to read log reports, create the issue, and simulate the issue and everything. All the assignments are made like that.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, and usually on week 4, which we start the assignments. Week 4 and week 5, you will not have any classes, just through email communication. It might seem scary, guys, but trust me, once you guys finish the 4 and 5 week and coming 6 week, you guys will have a very great. People say I had no experience with Azure. I was so scared, but once I complete this, I have full understanding of onboarding and offboarding level 1 workloads, at least to 60% now, right? That's exactly what the 3 assignment does to you. Okay. It's pretty much a military training for the assignments for the Azure itself. It's very good assignments.
Got it.
Yeah. And don't worry if you guys these assignments were in the last 2 batches when we do them, people who had no experience whatsoever about IT has done them, right? You will hit walls. That's how it's supposed to be. It's a research that that will, and I'll show you guys all that, how to research and how to communicate and everything. But you'll have a lot of fun with it. And I love this assignment. As soon as they come into week 6 and ask you. We'll have a discussion on week 6 about the assignment. You'll all come into the class, but that's when you'll understand and you'll have full knowledge about Azure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Okay. Very good. Okay, guys. Any other questions?
I think I'm good on my side. Yeah.
Very good, very good, very good. And next week, I hope the weather gets warm, and also my car gets fixed. I won't
Yeah.
get stuck anymore, but that should be okay. And Naveen, did you have anything to say?
No. Thank you so much for the time. Actually, so it
Thank
was
you.
a nice session. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Deepak, were you going to say something?
No, sir, I'm good for
Oh,
now.
very good. Very good.
Everything
Yes.
is fine.
Thank you so much, guys. And I'm sorry for starting the class delayed by a couple of minutes. I usually, if it's 7:30 until I give 5 minutes for everyone to prepare up and start the class. So if it's 7:30, I usually try to log in around 7:25, and then 7:35 we'll start the class. At that 1 hour mark, we'll have a 5 or 10 minutes mark, depending on how the class is going. Okay.
Yeah.
Usually I like to have a 10 minutes break so you guys can grab a water or a bathroom break or something like that, right? So, but yeah, that's how the format is. Okay. And once this video has been done and uploaded into the LMS, I will send you guys detailed email on updated information on your emails, registered emails, and I'll tell you guys exactly what we covered and what we did today, a little bit of what we did today, and then next class agenda, okay, which will have the videos you need to watch and what will be covered on next week, okay. So you guys have before you guys come to the next class, you'll have a clear understanding of what you guys will be prepared for.
So we'll be getting the access tonight, right?
Tonight, yes. In about 2, as soon as I get home,
Okay.
I'll just have to create you guys an account and I'll greet you guys. Okay?
Okay, good.
And I'll send you guys an email. So, but I'll send you guys a WhatsApp message with your login details personally, and email just sent to whole group. Okay.
So in case you don't receive the email, we'll just message on the group, right? WhatsApp group.
Yeah, you should get the email about the class updates for sure. In about class update usually tomorrow, because the video takes some time for us to compile and put into the LMS.
Okay.
Usually I say 24 hours is the maximum time. Usually before that, way before that. But at least the access will be created today and sent to you guys. Okay.
Okay, got it.
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, I think.
Okay.
Thank you. Have
All
a
right.
good night.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night. Yeah.
Have a wonderful
Bye.
night, guys. Have a wonderful
you
night.
too.
Okay, I'll see you
Bye.
guys next week.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.